Thank you very much, and a very good morning, and bonjour, and sabah al khair. As already has been indicated, this is a message of the Regional Director of the Eastern Mediterranean region. Your Excellency, Engineer Khalid bin Abdulaziz Al Falah, Minister of Health of Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency, Professor Mohammed Al Mishal, Chief Executive Officer of the Saudi Food and Drug Authority, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. I would like to start by welcoming the representatives of national regulatory authorities attending this important meeting, which we hope will contribute to the advancement of regulatory systems in the WHO Eastern Mediterranean region. Your participation here reflects your commitment to ensuring the safety, the quality, efficacy and effectiveness of medical products circulating in our markets. Medical products play an important role in and are an integral part of healthcare delivery systems. Therefore, it is important to understand that from a government perspective, it is not only accessibility, but also safety and efficacy of medical products that counts. Manufacturers are usually successful in obtaining market approval for their products from regulatory authorities if their products meet the regulatory requirements. However, differences in regulatory requirements between jurisdictions make compliance a complicated and resource-consuming procedure for manufacturers, authorized representatives, importers and distributors of medical products in our countries. Furthermore, a lack of harmonized processes to assess the safety and efficacy of or performance of medical products increases cost and registration time. This can be a barrier to timely access of new medical products in the local market. Your efforts to promote regional cooperation in the area of regulation is a step in the right direction and have the potential to yield major benefits in countries of the region. Still working? Okay, next. Khalas, finished? Okay. Before I set out reasons for promoting regulation of medical devices in the region, let me remind all of you of the context in which we find ourselves today. The current regional situation indicates that the performance of many national regulatory authorities is inadequate, with the main focus on the regulation of medicines and not on medical devices. Many of the authorities are ineffective in quality management and in monitoring the domestic market to prevent unsafe and ineffective medical products from entering. In addition, many of the relevant regulations are outdated or not formally enforced or even not implemented. Thus, adequate market oversight is lacking. In 2014, the 67th World Health Assembly emphasized the importance of strengthening the role of national regulatory authorities in regulating all types of medical products. The discussions of the Health Assembly resulted in the resolution 67.20, which calls upon member states to establish necessary regulatory norms and standards, build capacities of nationals on regulatory enforcement and control, enhance collaboration among regulators, and strengthen safety monitoring programs. My hope is that member states will use existing regulatory bodies, networks and experiences, as well as WHO support to identify the strengths and opportunities for improvement in this area. as a first step towards formulating plans for regulatory system strengthening. Today marks the start of our discussion on how these programs should be governed, managed and implemented. WHO staff, international experts and representatives from the European Commission, Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration, Asian Harmonization Working Party, World Medical Devices Organization, and Middle East Medical Devices and Diagnostic Trade Association are all here today. Our joint aim is to offer guidance on the design and implementation of effective and affordable national programs for regulation of medical devices, to share country experiences on the various models that can be used for introducing regulatory functions within existing national regulatory authorities, and to develop a roadmap based on a stepwise approach for countries at different stages of development to follow as they implement regulatory controls in their local settings. You are key actors in defining both the possibilities and the limitations of what your countries and the entire region can achieve and how. I hope that this meeting will provide the opportunity to share and discuss topics of mutual importance. Following this meeting, we will do our best to pursue the realization of functional and efficient medical device regulation in countries in our region. I hope that this meeting will provide a valuable platform for addressing common issues, as well as providing clear guidance on how to integrate medical devices regulatory programs within your regulatory jurisdictions. I look forward to our future collaboration in the field of regulation of medical products, and most of all, to the benefits that will arise as a result. I thank the organizers in Saudi Arabia, and I wish you all a fruitful meeting and a pleasant stay in Riyadh. Thank you. Thank you all, and I will quickly introduce the objectives and maybe the expected outcomes of this meeting. It looks like that I have the slides just of the speech that I just read to you, so maybe it will be good to see it on the screen also. As you know, the WHO region of the Eastern Mediterranean has 22 countries, as you can see here in all the colors. The colors is a kind of categorization of some countries according to the level of development. And you can see that we are in Group 1. Saudi Arabia is one of the countries of Group 1, representing high-income countries. The yellow countries are the middle-income countries, and the red countries are seen as the low-income countries. But anyhow, that is just for, we will not use that too much, but it is the way that we look at how WHO can offer services and support to countries. This is the classification, but I will skip that now. What is important, and I have already highlighted in the speech of in the message of Dr. Alwan, the regional director, is that we have a very powerful resolution that came through in 2014 during the World Health Assembly. And this resolution is indeed to establish national regulatory norms and standards, to build capacities of nationals on regulatory enforcement and control, enhance collaboration among regulators, especially in the regions and beyond, and strengthen safety monitoring systems. You will hear that many times, but that is one of the important functions that we all have to work on. Also, what we have organized is, together with the member states, is that we conducted a global survey on medical device regulation, and that looked at the status and the functionality of existing medical device regulatory functions that you have in place. Now, where did it start altogether? We had a paper that was especially in 2013, especially on health system strengthening. As you all know, we try to strengthen systems, and regulatory systems is an integral part of that strengthening activities. It is based on 7 key priorities, of which one is very important for all of us, that is ensure access to safe and quality health technologies. And here we meant medicines, vaccines, medical devices, and diagnostics. So when you hear medical products or health technologies, this is the category of products that we all include. What we found was that of this paper was based on research that medical device regulation was urgently needed. Hardly any member states had any system in place. That 80% of the population lacks access to quality health technologies. We have a problem of counterfeit health technologies, not only in our region, but worldwide. To give you the perspective here, up to 90% of medical devices are imported, and mostly it is supply-driven. National guidelines for medical device procurement is not always available, and misuse and medical errors associated with health technologies is an area of concern. So, how are we going to address this whole issue? In 2014, there were some visits done by Dr. Alan Kent, and we have him here sitting in the front. You will hear him later. He undertook case studies with another consultant and looked at medical regulation in Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Sudan. And with all these case studies, we have developed a regional guide on the step-by-step implementation of medical devices regulation. And this document will be used later during some group work that we have. Now, the meeting objectives. The important is to offer guidance on design and implementation of effective national programs for medical regulation, to share country experiences on models used for introducing medical device regulatory functions within the existence from national regulatory authorities, to develop a roadmap based on a stepwise approach for countries at different stages of development as they implement medical devices regulatory controls in their local settings. In the coming 4 days, we have to work hard, and we have to reach, and I see Professor Amashal is looking at me, we need a roadmap for design and implementation of regulatory program for medical devices. WHO technical support offered in development of the medical device regulatory functions. And we need a regional discussion forum on medical device regulation to facilitate the exchange of knowledge and information that we may get from other networks and other regions. Merci beaucoup. Shukran jazilan. Thank you very much.
I guess I don't need this step. Thank you, Dr. Everard, for your enlightening message and presentation. The next speaker is a PhD graduate from the University of Miami with a master's degree in business administration and engineering. He has joined the WHO more than 14 years ago to develop the areas of medical devices assessment, regulations, and management in the 22 countries of the region. He had contributed through several publications, guidelines, and meetings into the development of this area. We are pleased to have Dr. Adham Ismail, the Regional Advisor for Health Technology and Medical Devices at the WHO, to deliver his speech on the IMRO current situation and the way forward.